We're going to take a look at some of the hands that we played over the past couple of weeks that we thought were interesting. I'll go first. Why would ace-7 be interesting? Let's find out. So ace-7, easy raise on the button. We're going to raise this all the way down to ace-3 in the solver, mixing ace-3 and folding ace-deuce. But in reality, we can even raise ace-deuce here.
You forgot to reload.
Probably. That's probably what happened. I probably lost the previous hand and didn't reload fast enough.
Broken stack fish.
Broken stack fish. All right.
I want to see the previous hand, Scotty.
All right.
Yep.
I'll show it to you. Show it to you now. Okay, here we go. So broken stack fish, raise, get a call there. Oh, 2 places. All right, so easy multi-way hand. We're gonna go, it's gonna go check, check. We can do a lot of stabbing. I don't think this hand needs to stab. So I do that. Now we pick up some equity. He bets. Do we have enough to call here? I think we do. I think we can call this. There we go. We call. There's the fold. There's the jack. He bets. So fold or turn it into a bluff. The fact that he bets this jack here makes me suspicious of his hand. What do we block? 8, 9, 10, jack, queen. So 10 queen gets there. And 7, 10, he probably doesn't have very often. So I don't block that properly. I guess I just have to fold. There we go. And we marked it because what he had was the 10-7. All right. So he did have 10-7. And this guy called us, just so you can see it. Jack deuce suited calling a raise from the button when you suspect the button is a fish because of its broken stack. All right. All right, here we go. Queen 10, easy raise on the button. Call, maybe it's jack deuce suited for all we know. We flop a queen and a 10, that's great. We're full stacks. So we're trying to get stacks in. We probably can't get stacks in, in this small thing, but against his range, he can hit this with some draws. He can have jack 9, he can have jack 10 easily, queen jack there. So he can hit this so I can bet big. So I'm gonna. Let's bet big. No, I bet small. Let's bet big next time. There we go. I haven't filtered his range that much, but now let's polarize at the top of our range. Let's go at least 8, maybe 10, hell, maybe 12, 10, fine, sure. He calls, great, that's good. 7. The only straight that's coming is 5, 6. I'm not worried about it. He checks. I'm too small to, I think the jam is too big. So let's go 30, 28, 35, something like that. 28. All right. He calls.
Whoa.
Whoa. Greed is good, people.
Magnitude trumps frequency.
Magnitude trumps frequency, and sometimes they do this.
Maybe to him it looked just like a really, so yeah, this is a horrible call. I mean, it's a horrible call. I can't think of a street in which he could have called. He should have called. I think he should have folded flop. I think
no, look at the one thing
has
with
double backdoors, triple
he should have
backdoors.
folded he shouldn't have played it this way pre-flop, but he did. I mean, if you're gonna have a calling range from the small blind, which these guys do, let's go look at, just for fun, at 3. We'll look at it in 3 big blinds, because this is the nice thing about this is this is all cash. So this is where he's got his biggest calling range. And his calling range, ace-4, yeah, okay, not the worst thing in the world. When he gets to the flop here, he's facing a small bet with the backdoor flush, backdoor straight in both directions,
And over.
and an over. Yeah, I think he can call this.
Alright. Okay,
And
I'll buy it.
there's a lot of coaches out there that will argue, if you notice the big blind, his numbers are pretty fishy, a little on the spewy side. I wonder if, he knows this player or has gotten a little bit of a read that he wants to be in pots with him. So he just flats.
Yeah. To invite the guy in,
But
which
yeah,
is always weird because he's inviting him in out of position against two players, which is not how you want to play against the spewy guy, but
yeah.
you can't always.
No, well, I would say he's not a good player because of his post flop play.
Yeah, I don't hate this, but this is time to give up.
Yeah.
He needed to pick up more than that. All right, and then the river, the spewy. All right, here we go. I'll do one more. Okay, so this is going to be about how they play. So let's show their cards because I'm folding this. All right, ace queen against 5-3. So easy raise from the ace queen. He raises a bit small for a small blind raise. Okay, 5-3, great.
Wonder if he's doing that because he wants to call.
Could be, could be. This is an easy call for the 5-3 here. And I don't think there's any reason for him to raise it, but he does. Raising middle pair with a backdoor and a gutter. Yeah, there aren't a lot of raises in position, and his 5 should be over. Should be the more important thing about this is his 5. We'll see if this is based on poker coaching, so we'll see how the wizard responds with it. So I'll run this one wizard. There we go. He raises, easy call for the ace queen. Ace
I can
queen.
see why you saved his hand.
Yeah, ace queen can check here and happily call. He's still losing to the pocket 4s and the 5s and the ace 4 and the ace 5 and the 4-5, all of which this guy can have. So there's no reason for him to change to a donk. The bet is huge. There's no reason for him to raise this. He should just call. He does. And the king comes. The ace queen should check again. And here's what we're watching. He's going to jam and it's going to work. The power of aggression. All right, I'm going to burn my GTO wizard to see this one. All right. Because you can't do it in peak because it's blind versus blind, and peak doesn't have blind versus blind yet. So let's get some of that. All right. 100 big blinds, small blind. Here we go. Small blind raises, it should be to so I'm going to change this so it's the 3 instead. It's the 3.5 at least, so I can. Which is going to be, we'll do the 9 max. That way, at least the small blind is going to 3. There we go. 3-5 suited, easy call. Little bit of raising. Flop is ace 5 of spades, 4 of diamonds. Spades, 4 of diamonds. All right. And our ace queen suited is going to bet. The size that he bet was, he bets basically half pot. All right. So we'll make that. Here's his half pot bet. Ace queen does it, right? Ace queen suited in diamonds. It likes the smaller bet, but this is fine. So he bets it. 3-5 of diamonds. More raising than I thought.
He found it.
Yeah, he found it. And this is more than the simple poker coaching rule would be, which is he's marginally made and has lots of draws. But you can always just say it's a pair plus a draw, and a pair plus a draw is just lots of outs plus his backdoor. So pair plus draw. So he raises to about 9. And our ace queen now. Is just a pure, the fact that there's a little bit of re-raising there, fine, but the ace queen here just calls it. Great. Picks up the 9 of diamonds. And the ace queen. In the small blind. Now it does do a little donking. I wouldn't. And it mostly doesn't. And now the 5-3 having picked up equity, but absolutely not improved. His size is mostly 18, but he does 30. And again, doesn't break the solver. And the pot is here. What is our pot size here? Where does it say that?
24.
24. Where does it say that? Where am I not
Right
seeing?
where your mouse is almost, you just got to move over just a touch.
Okay.
See the turn that says
There,
24.
24. Thank you. There's the 24. Okay. So the 9 comes there. The pot is 24. We do check. And he's going to bet 30. Because he does do a little bit. He does do a little over bet, right? His actual
Yep.
bet.
Yeah, you
Yes,
did.
same thing. There he goes, 30. And now the ace queen is, and now you start folding ace queen. Who's doing that? Who's folding ace queen of hearts here to this action?
Blind versus blind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm doing it blind versus blind.
Look at that. That is, wow. All right, we call. The river is not a blank, it's a spade. The king of spades. Ace queen checks. 5-3 does not turn it into a bluff. 5 deuce does. Does a 9 bluff ever? Yep, here's some bluffing 9s. Jack 9 and 10-9. They do bluff. Or are these spades? Nope, these are value.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at any 5s. Any 5s bluff? There's some bluffs. 6-5 if you're here without the diamonds. You just don't want the diamonds to bluff because you want me to have diamonds. That's what it is. So no bluffing of diamonds here. No bluffing of diamonds. All right. But he does
Wow, how much 5x you end up with? How much 5x you raise on the flop
you don't have a lot.
without diamonds?
Yep.
Or spades?
Yeah, the 6. I mean, it's not a lot. It's not a high percentage of it, but you get there. And you're not there with queen 3 that often either, but you get there. But when you do it, and the bluff was it all in?
Yeah, it was just over pot. Or I mean, just under pot, I mean. 60 into 70, 60 into 80.
Yeah. So he jams it. So there's the jam. And the ace queen now of diamonds,
Yeah, fold. Wow.
pure fold. Wow. Folding every ace that isn't at least 2 pair.
Even ace 4 though.
Yeah, you have to have at least 2 pair, and even 2 pair is folding.
Mm-hmm.
Oofda.
Oofda.
Oofda. Ace 3 does it. Yeah, there's a sliver with the ace 3 because you have it so rarely. That tests it there. Okay. Who's next?
I got some live hands to show you guys if you want.
Eddie. Yeah.
All right. All right. So 2 hands. This is very early in the evening. Everybody has essentially $200.
Mhm.
we open to 6. I
Mhm.
think that, I'm gonna open any place from 6 to 10 live.
Mm.
Get a flat
OMCs don't
from,
check raise bluff, Larry.
say it again.
Said OMCs don't check raise bluff.
It's true. Um, so this guy's unknown and the button is a loose rack. So we get a flat, we get another flat, and we get the dream flop. Um, multi-way, this SPR. What are you guys doing here?
GTO is a check.
Yeah.
It checks pure from that. The Prometheus is not a pure check, but it checks a lot.
Yeah. So base it on your players. Are
Yeah.
they stations?
The
Are they
loose wreck
aggressive?
is actually a station. And I don't, it's the unknown is still on his playing style became obvious soon after, too much to my chagrin, as I'll show you guys, but. So I decided to bet really small here.
Okay,
I I think the SPR allows for it. And so I bet small,
okay,
and then we get this. We get a click.
okay.
This is and loose rec folds. This is really the decision point, I think, for me in this hand.
You re-click,
What are you guys doing here?
pop it up to 24.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Start to get value from their value, kings or king queen and queen jack, queen 10, the other garbage that they might have.
Yeah.
The
So
flush
I
draws
also
will
was really
the
focused on
flushes.
spade. I thought this imposition click rough bluffing range was because it includes spades.
Mm-hmm.
For
And
this,
So
so
they can check the turn if it comes blank. They can like get a free card pretty much.
yeah,
yeah, that is why actually I'm glad you reminded me that because when you said that it reminded that's exactly what I was thinking in game. Is that so often if I just call here and then I check, it's gonna go check on turn.
yeah.
And so I decided to fast play. I think we're all in agreement. I don't think you like my sizing now. I decided the click back was just too cheeky and it looked too nutted. And so I decided to use a different sizing, which I thought would be more polarizing.
Oh, don't tell me you jammed.
No, I didn't jam. I went to, instead of going to 36, which is kind of stupid to do, going to exactly $36.
Yeah.
Live is just it's dumb. So I just went to 40.
So you just said, I have a queen. That, I mean, you might be lying, but the size of your bet says, I have a queen. What do you
It
have?
does. It does.
Yeah.
And I was hoping to get called, but I was hoping to give a price
Mhm.
where flush draws were going to feel compelled to call.
Right.
Um, but I think we're in agreement that this is not necessarily, I mean, I think there are some still plays
Like I
here.
wouldn't do it with king queen, right? You're just doing it with ace queen only
Wouldn't do
because you can
anything
get
with
worse queens.
Yeah, because king queen is going to call,
Mm-hmm.
but I was really kind of, if you want, okay, let me ask you guys this question. I want flush draws to call. I'm going to take my 70-30 against flush draws. Well, not including my boat outs.
Mhm.
What size would you use against a normal person, normal human, a regular player? What size would you use to where flush draws would feel compelled to call?
Anywhere from 35 to 45. I think the flush draws.
Yeah, this is good size.
All
All
right,
right,
flush draw.
so I was
20.
so I hit my number then because that's what I was trying to get to a number where I felt flush draws would call.
Yeah.
Um,
But what's going to fold now is ace jack, king jack, king jack with a single spade. Those kind of raises, they're going to fold.
yeah, and
No queens folding.
Yeah, and the other thing is no queens folding. So
Ace five's folding.
what I found out later, and I wish this hand had happened later in the evening, but this guy was he was a maniac, and so he was just picking up. He had kind of like a poor man's Marcoon style. Any kind of anything that he perceived as to be a small bet, he correlated the weakness and he pounced on it,
Right.
and it worked for him a lot actually. But if I had known that this was gonna essentially,
Mhm.
I think his range at this point. Now that I
It
saw him
had
play
so
for
much
4
garbage, like
hours,
if you knew.
his range probably here is just a lot of trash that missed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so there's no rhyme and reason here, right? It's not just focused on front door flush draws. It's not just
Right.
focused on queen X.
Yeah,
Not-
yeah, yeah.
It's not just focused on like king jack blocking.
Yeah.
It's just like anything. So
Yeah,
for
you
that
got-
reason, I think this becomes against this player class, it becomes a pure slow play.
Yep, yep. Agreed.
Okay. But unfortunately, and also, Bart Hansen, he's like very little slow playing, out of position, with top of range, live. But, obviously, in retrospect, if I had known what kind of player he was, I would have slow played. But I think this play is fine for what I was trying to do then.
So I have a
Mhm.
question for you. So
Yeah.
let's say you did the real slow play, you just called,
Yeah.
and the turn comes a blank.
Yeah.
Do you want to check to let him bet, or do you want to bet small again to make it look like you're trying to get there cheap to give him another chance to spaz you off the hand? Which way do you
That's a
like?
That
really
would be
good question.
funny. That would be a funny one, like bet small again on the turn to make him spaz out.
And I mean
Yeah.
really small. I mean six.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I never really thought about that play, but it's an excellent idea.
Comedically small.
Yeah.
Pretend like you're on a flush draw and they're gonna try to fold you out of it
Yeah,
or
you
something.
want to
You know,
get
that's
you want
hilarious.
you want to get the card for cheap.
And this
Mhm.
guy was one player where that would have made sense because he went crazy. I mean,
Love it.
he's just nuts.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm out of position. About 30 minutes after this, I moved. I said, "Oh, this is a game in the back of a bar, actually."
Yeah.
And so I said, "Oh, I gotta move. These pretty girls are walking by, and I can't pay attention to the game." And so I moved to his left to get
Good.
position on him.
Nice.
But
Good excuse.
yeah, and actually, it's kind of sad because I couldn't see the pretty girls anymore. But the game was more important.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that's a really good idea, Scotty. I mean, I wouldn't have thought of doing that. Frankly, I would have checked pure, but I
Sure.
can see the value in that on turn.
And again, not 12, not the same percentage of the pot.
Once you know player type.
Not the
All
same
right.
percentage, the same size, the 6
The
again.
same
Yeah, the
size.
same size would be hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm digging that. I think that's a really good idea. All right. So, but again, to reiterate to you guys, this size is appropriate for targeting front door flush draws.
Mhm.
Okay. Just
I
And
wonder
then,
what this
and
player
here's my
type would have
question.
done to the quick back. You know,
What do you do here if his response is, is like a jam, where
Here?
he's, oh, great, yeah. You're gonna
Well,
queen or you
I think I pay off his pair of fives.
okay,
I don't think I fold this
Yeah.
because, I mean, so let's just go through the check ratio list real fast because I think it's going to be real fast. Are we ever beating value? And the answer is yes. We are beating king,
King.
queen, and king, jack, and king 10. I'm sorry, queen.
Yeah.
Queen X. We're beating lesser queen X. So we
Yeah.
never fold this because we're beating value.
right.
Okay, one more hand. This is a weird one. This is a weird live one. Okay, so this is at the end of the night. I now have position. This is the same guy,
Right.
the loose aggressive call blind. I've now got position, but we're deeper.
Yeah.
I'm at 150 big blinds. He's
Mhm.
got me covered. And then this guy had been having a tough night. He said, I'm all in pre with his $25 in UTG. So he goes in with 25 bucks
And this is blind, right?
So
blind.
like a straddle.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, it's
got,
like a $25 straddle. And then the lag says, okay, I'm calling blind. So he calls blind to the
gotcha.
$25. And then it comes to us and we've got king, queen suited. What are you guys doing here?
Oh,
Raise,
Yeah.
100% raising.
raise, probably jam.
All right, so yeah, okay, so we've got two behind us as well, right? We know that.
Yeah.
Not worried.
So these guys are, so behind
know-
us, we've got another loose recreational
Who
on a
has
short
100.
stack, and then we've got a tight rig and big blind on covering us as well. If you, so are, what sizing option are you guys gonna use? Are we shoving out at 50 big blinds? Are we clicking
Mhm.
it? Are we going to 75? What are we
Shoving.
doing?
So I'm okay, sorry, somebody else go first.
Oh. No, what were you gonna say?
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm considering all in. I'm looking at that and going, well, the basic rule of 3 times that plus the other money in the pot is 100. 100 is a third of my stack, therefore I'm all in. I think about that, and then I realize that in this game, in a 1-2 game, I don't have to do that. So a raise here to 75 does almost everything I want it to do. Because remember, I can never get the first guy to fold. So there's no chance that the small blind or the big blind come along with a speculative hand like an ace that beats me later. They only come in if they've got me crushed. And I will fold to them at that point if they jam. If the blind guy jams the 325, now that I know who he is, I take it. I do the call.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
I
And
think
I,
you get 75, I think it accomplishes everything you want. Maybe 90, just because you would really like him to fold his 20, to have him fold any equity he has. The guy who's got 300 left, rather than trying to get his 300 with a king queen suited. So that's what I think. All right,
I-
anybody else?
Yeah, I was in the like raise it to 100 camp.
Yeah,
I think you guys are right. Yeah, I think a 3x here, 3 to 4x is good.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a, and this is, I do have some, I'll be honest with you, I do have some OMC qualities which I have to work on. This is obviously a very weird situation. And so my theory took over and I said, well, this is an implied eyes hand. I really want to see a flop with this hand. I'm never folding, but this is an implied odd hand. And then in my head, I was like, well, I would call a 3-bet with king queen, which is kind of where we are in pot size. But I think your play is better. I think you just stick it in, and I think 90 is a really good number, and if our loose aggro guy decides to gamble, then we've got a really good hand and we're in position. And
Yeah.
a lot of times we'll be able to shove. I think I made a mistake here, and that's why I'm bringing it to the group. I decided that I was going to call, which I think is a mistake.
so Larry, before you move on,
Mm-hmm.
what I think, the other reason I think it's a mistake is I think that you're analyzing it wrong.
Yeah, talk to me. Tell me what you're thinking.
This is the thing. Once somebody says that they're going I'm going to do such and such blind, and you know it's blind. That's another thing I want to do is if he says, well, then I'll call you blind after he's gotten his cards, I want to make sure that I've seen that he didn't look. I've had people angle shoot me where they say I raised blind and they didn't raise blind. They had pocket aces and they just looked at them, saw him, and then they said I raised blind.
Yeah, they did. This was definitely blind. They did it before the
Right.
shuffle.
So when it happens that early, you're playing completely different game. Now the game you're playing is a game where a game where the blinds are 25-25. Okay. And everyone has 12, and it's a tournament. Basically, you're playing a 12 big blind tournament.
Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it.
And what do you do with 12 or 14 big blinds with king queen suited in a tournament?
Shove it.
You just shove it. It's just a shove.
Mhm.
It's a trivial shove. Shove. That's
Yep.
the game you're playing.
You're up
And
against
it
two
doesn't
ranges,
matter-
full ranges.
Yeah,
like
it doesn't matter
entire range.
what the hands before or after are for you that's the game this hand.
Yeah, and also all the implied odds don't matter at that stack depth. That's a really good point.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think, and that's the way I would think about a straddle, right?
Yeah.
When someone straddles, I'm thinking I'm changing my big blind strategy to match the straddle as the big blind. And I'm measuring my big blinds as by dividing by the straddle. I
Mhm.
did not think to do that in this situation. It was so unusual. I was a little bit flummoxed, frankly.
Mhm.
And I think you guys are right. I think that's the way to look at it.
Okay.
So
So now play that.
I'll show you the sad hand. So my flat allowed him to call.
Mm-hmm.
Tight rig gets out of the way, 4-way. We do not hit. And this guy like donks for 30. And he folds, and I'm like, I have nothing.
Garbage.
Yeah,
You
I
have
know.
has
And
you
he,
beat right now. You call him once, and now you have to fold on the turn, or you folded now. You didn't fold now, did you?
I folded.
How did you see the 6?
And I just,
Because the other guy's in.
Oh, the other guy's in.
showing
Right,
25.
guy's
yep.
in blind,
They have to show.
and he
Fives,
dunked with
yeah.
his 5s.
Yeah.
When he gets a good flop.
7-2.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now, I might have ended up, this
You
guy
might have-
probably would have folded his, well, I don't know. I might have lost a lot of money, but who cares? I think you're right. I think the right way to do this is our hand's so good at this stack depth
Mhm.
of, yeah, 12
Yeah.
effective that we just stick, we can,
Yeah.
we could arguably just stick it in. My initial gut reaction was all in.
Mhm.
And then I got a little gun shy, frankly.
I think
But
all
I
in.
think
Is
all
better
in,
than-
I think is the right play here.
Yeah, I think all in is probably better than 75.
I think
70
in theory, that
both are
in
okay.
theory, all in is the play.
Okay.
So, all right. I've got other hands, but I'll pass it on to someone else for a while.
Okay. Who else has got? I believe Richie. Did you have one that you wanted to look at? A 3-bet.
Mine
was-
was more of a question than the whole hand. I just couldn't work out on the screenshot I sent why they weren't betting the clubs and they were betting everything else on the board. Was it because the highest card was a club?
I will share the screenshot here. Okay, and hope that nothing in my email matters that I just showed you guys. I'll look back in the future. Okay, so I need the Zoom window. I need the Zoom. Here we go. All right, there we go. And the recording is at 11:15 if I have to edit out email. I don't think I do. All right, there we go. Here's the solver. Okay. So describe what's going on here. You want to know.
Yeah, so this is basically a 3-bet pot. Small blind 3-betting, small blind obviously 3-bet button calls. Small blind
Right.
continues for 75 on the flop with ace king offsuit, and then the 10 comes in, and then I was just looking at what ace king does, and I was trying to work out why is it just a check with if you're holding a club, but it's you can continue betting if you don't hold the club, and I just want to know what the theory behind that was.
All right. So he called you, right?
Oh, sorry, this is under the gun 1 plus under the gun
Oh, okay.
normal. It's
So
not
under the
small
gun,
blind
under the
3
gun
betting.
raised,
Yeah.
under the gun raised, under the gun 1, 3-bet him. We get to the flop, under the gun checks, under the gun 1 bet. We're on the turn. Oh no, it goes check. No, okay. Yeah, under the gun checks, under the gun 1 bets, under the gun calls. Then we have a check. We're
Yeah.
back on the 3-better. So he's going to call with his back doors, right? He's going to call with hearts, clubs, and diamonds.
It's weird too. You think spades wouldn't want because it either like playing club.
Dan,
But
Yeah,
he doesn't
that's
continue.
Danny's-
spades, so I guess it doesn't matter to block them.
Okay.
Do any of you? Yeah, I was just trying to work out why the clubs are the ones that not. Is there some tie with a club and the top card, or the
Let's
top
see.
card?
He's folded his tens. He folded pre-flop any 10 that wasn't suited. So he's in there with ace 10, right? But
Ace of clubs doesn't block
But
the ace.
so he can have ace 10 of hearts, he can have ace 10 of diamonds and be there. When you have ace 10 of heart, when you have an ace of hearts or an ace of diamonds, you block him from having an ace 10. But when you have the ace of clubs, you open up his tens.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Yes.
Mhm.
So you open up his
Okay.
10. And so you can't continue.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I get you. Yeah. So yeah, you're unblocking the hearts and the diamonds and the spades. Obviously, a spade's just come, but let's say on the flop you're unblocking the other three. Yeah. Okay, that makes complete sense. I just couldn't work it out. That's
Yeah.
all I wanted to know on that particular one, and that clears things up massively. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think the magic way to think about it is you go, you say, why am I unblocking? Why am I blocking him from having, why does my ace of clubs unblock him from having a 10 is the fact that you look at the hand that he can't have ace 10 offsuit here. That's what narrows it down to make it matter. Okay, good.
Okay.
That's what I think. All right.
Cool.
Anybody else got a hand? Mike,
Yeah, sure.
take it away, Mike.
All right.
And if anybody else has any hands, let us know, either put it in the chat or yell me before it comes back around to me. For it. All right.
So we got a limp in a chronic limper. He's
Mhm.
already done this a number of times.
Yep.
There's a little stat over there. Not that you can
Mhm.
see it. He limp folds a lot. Anyway, we have a hand we're clearly going to ISO.
Good.
We get flatted
Ooh.
here by somebody, and another flat, another flat, another flat. Okay.
All right.
So
The hand got
we're
simple.
pretty much, yeah, unless we flop the world, there's not much we can do here.
No,
But we do get a pretty decent flop for not flopping anything.
Yeah.
It goes check, check.
Check.
I like the check more than the bet here.
Yeah,
But in theory, obviously you can bet, if you don't have it, you're in a multi-way pot. If you don't have it, someone else does, but an open-ended straight draw and two overcards is certainly an it. So you could bet this if you wanted.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll
Okay.
I don't-
personally check my range here.
yeah, or check it.
Yeah, me
Go
too.
multi-way.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too, Dean. We've had this conversation quite a bit on our calls. Which we did. It checks through. So
Right.
we get to
Nice.
realize a turn card,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
great. Now we get this little dinky bet,
Mhm.
Sweet.
and here we are with two players left to act, and this short stack.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, we can't raise, right?
no.
You can,
Yeah,
because
I
you
mean,
can
do whatever.
look at this bet and I'm sorry, Dean, you were saying, go on.
Oh, no, I was just saying, yeah, you can. You can definitely raise.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah,
whatever.
we can. And I think like him having this size of a stack kind of limits our raising ability, right?
Yeah, I don't think I don't think you should raise here, but you can. It's just going to be hard to get him off of a 10.
And we're gonna have to call like when he jams too,
Yeah, that's the thing.
with his pocket fives.
Yeah. So,
So yeah, we did.
yeah, great.
All right, we're down to three-handed now.
Hmm.
Okay. Then we get that.
I'd fold and let villain 6 defend.
Yeah, God, I mean, look at the pot. It's like really like I guess we have to we can't really make hero calls when we're in the middle like this, right?
No.
No, it's not, you're not, yeah, you can't, no. Here's what I think has to happen here, which is villain 6 gets to make this bluff not work with it.
Mhm.
with his ace high or his pocket deuces or with his king queen. But
Yeah,
I don't think you get to do it with your king queen.
I know. And I mean, it was just so, so compelling to maybe, just take it. But yeah, so.
Right.
We'll just show you
Oh,
everything
wow.
we had here.
Shockingly.
Yeah, 4-3.
All right, run it to the, now let's see what the guy did it with. So
Yeah,
diamond
flush draw,
call,
open ender,
open
low
ender.
end.
Good for the 4-3. Good for him.
Yeah. He's like, screw that small size. You bullshit.
Now, if you call, do you think the 4-3 does it to two people?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
no.
wondering too.
He might. It's harder, but
Maybe he might just snap fold too.
Yeah, if we call here this little $3 bet into
Yeah.
30,
he might
Mhm.
just know you can't have that, that you're limited, that you're so capped. And he can get, I mean, he can bet big against you.
yeah.
And villain one has to do some more folding to that because you're behind villain one. So villain one can't hero call with a 10.
Okay.
Wow, funny hand.
So yeah, that's crazy, the kind of stuff we see here, right?
Yeah.
Here's another one. We get a limp from Chronic Limper. I don't, this is a little bit close, but I wound up ISOing.
I want to say that I love the guy with the 4-3s play. I
Yeah,
love
me too.
And we get the limp call, flop bottom pair. This flop, the whole marginally made. However, this range is, who knows what this range is. It's a good flop for somebody who's going to ISO. So I wound up C betting here.
Okay. So basically you're just saying your betting range there.
Yeah, I think this is pretty much pretty close to bet range when I get this.
Yeah.
This flop. But yeah, I was curious about if we should be doing it with our bottom pair. I probably fine, right?
I think the decision you make before that it's bottom pair is you look at the board and say, am I betting range? If
Yeah.
you're willing to bet range on this board, then the other stuff goes out the window.
Yeah.
And I think you are. I think you looked at that board and said, this board is so good for my range compared to his limping range. But also remember what we know about that limping range. It is littered with king 10 offsuit.
Yeah, all the offsuit Broadways.
Mhm.
All that offsuit Broadway stuff is all over there. So okay.
Right. So he checks. We're on the turn. I'm thinking at this point, I just check behind now at this point.
Yeah.
And do we bluff or do we just take a showdown?
We beat
Hmm.
heart draws that don't have a 10 in them. We beat diamond draws that don't have a 10 in them.
Yeah, I took the
We get it.
showdown.
Great.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, I just was feeling if you guys thought it was worth a bluff here or not.
I was considering it
So
Yeah, like maybe
because
just
his
take out
diamonds
a
is
jack
because
or
it
10.
because his straight draws because the 10 hits, the 10 may not be able to call, but it hits the straight draws.
Mm-hmm.
Queen 10 now beats you, but might fold.
9-10.
9-10 now beats you, but it might fold.
yeah, and then against this range, we just are still we're able to show down against a lot of other trash too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, those seem pretty standard, nothing really crazy. So we raise our ace five and we get the big blind against what's seemingly decent player
Yep.
so far. What do you think is our best action here?
Bet
Always?
for this. The deuces are kind of irrelevant. It's kind of hard for him to hit it. And we do have a legitimate draw.
So then size.
Small paired board, even though the deuce is, well. Yeah, let's still go small. Small will accomplish what we need to. Third, 2 big blinds, 1.7 big blinds, that range.
Right. Anybody
Would you
else have
fold
any
to a check raise?
objections to checking back or betting?
Would you fold to a check raise, Scotty, if you bet here and they
Yeah.
bombed out?
Depending on size, yeah. I wouldn't feel confident with my ace anymore. I think I would continue with my hand that has a diamond in it.
Now versus population, I would be betting here like pretty much like c betting, just like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This player has shown to be aggressive and like decent. So check raises are not out of the question from somebody like this. Whereas population is gonna under check raise their bluffs and their, their non-equity type stuff.
Yeah. Talk about the AF number. So he has an AF of 6. Talk about how big is 6? Like
That's a really big number. There's not a whole lot of hands here. We're only 38 hands. However, 6 means when he has the opportunity, he bets 6 times more than he doesn't bet. He takes an aggressive action. If it was 1, it's kind of like about even.
Right.
So when you start getting above 1 and into these big numbers, this is very aggressive.
Gotcha. Okay.
This is a very big number.
Right. 1 is neutral. Okay.
Yeah, 1 is neutral. You'll see this guy's always betting.
Infinite means he hasn't yet he hasn't had an opportunity to not do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's an aggressive number, and I think that's probably may have played into the factor of me checking back here.
I don't hate it. Would suck to have to fold out the best ace high and you have a gutter. Now you can easily just call.
Right now, you're talking about Dean.
Yeah,
Just call.
I would. I mean, I don't know if
Mhm.
you're supposed to or not, but you have like
Mhm.
ace high. Could still would just be the best hand against like a 5-6 or something.
I agree with you. It's one of the reasons we check on the
Yeah,
flop is to, show down better hands than his bluffs, and this certainly qualifies when he's in the big blind.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention we still have redraws, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't know if anybody else doesn't like this, if we're just folding.
Not folding.
And now that we get to
Folding.
5 here, this is an easy check back now, right?
I think so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, always check back.
If it was, let's say, an 8 of clubs,
I'd still probably check back. He's not checking his jack. Maybe we're hoping to fold a 4 only. But still,
yeah.
we have maybe if we had like king or queen or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, just take
We
just take
wouldn't
the
call
8-9.
so
Okay.
Great.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Perfect.
that's what we expect when we kind of range. Now that's a bad call in the big blind. You don't call king 10 off there. I don't think, right? Is
Against the low jack?
king 10 off a defend versus a low jack?
No.
Yeah,
I would
thinking-
have. My bad.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
You can fold some king jack. You can against the low jack, you can fold, let's see, ace 10. Yeah, you can ace 10, king jack, queen. Yeah.
But also, if you're going to play this king 10, you should probably try to bomb it on the river too.
Right.
He doesn't have the ace of diamonds, but the king of diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
You might have been planning to.
Yeah.
Okay. We get another nice little wheel ace to play with here. Okay. I don't know what happens here. This falls into the old 4-bet range. I don't know if I do it. I do.
Do.
Okay, that one's this one's
And we're
no
done.
problem.
And we're done.
That one's not a problem.
We weren't worried about that like
Oh, that
bigger
happened.
3-bet size.
Yep. There we
Oh,
go.
yeah, that's probably why I marked it. The 3-bet size.
Yeah.
The size of the 3-bet.
Your 3-bet here is, his 3-bet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his 3-bet's unusually large. That's,
Unusually large.
9 is typically the biggest 3-bet
Yes.
size we see.
Yeah,
7.5 is, kind of standard, 8 standard, 9, you're seeing a lot of 9x on the three
Yeah.
bets. This is highly unusual.
yeah,
I remember seeing it now that I remember the hand and thinking, okay, I'm not going to have hardly any 4-bet bluffs now. But if I do, this is going to be one of them. So,
right.
so I took it anyway, which is probably a mistake. And that's probably why I marked it to discuss that.
Yeah. So if you raise to 3, the most standard common size is them going to 9. So people who don't pay attention have seen a lot of 3 bets at 9. So if you go to 2.5, they still go to 9. The 9 isn't a big bet compared with 7.5 because they're not thinking 3 times your bet. They're thinking 3 bets are 9.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you
It
do the
does.
same out of position. There are some people who don't make a distinction between in position and out of position.
Yeah,
So,
and there are people that do make the distinction. Like I've seen the 2.5 to 9, and then when somebody makes it 3, they go to 10.5. Those
right.
people,
Yeah.
which is
So
a pot size 3-bet.
yeah. So all that makes sense, but this one's bigger than even that. Yeah.
But yeah, so that I think that's why I was questioning, should I even bother 4-bet bluffing?
Mm-hmm. Seems like a good reason to tighten it up. And
Mm-hmm.
uh if people have no bluffs in their 3 bets, if they're purely linear, which a lot of people are, you need fewer 4-bet bluffs? Yes? That's a question mark?
I don't know.
I believe actually that was on a recent poker coaching video, and I'm pretty confident that's correct. Yeah, if they have a tighter 3-bet range, then your 4-bet range should be tighter.
Mhm.
You drop some of the worst suited bluffs.
Hmm.
But I believe ace four would still fall into it. Ace five, you would drop the lower ones. You
Yeah.
drop the more gapped like kings, like king tens, etc. It would just be the connectors, etc. So you tighten it up. But then obviously on a different video, which I shared with GTO Wizard, and it isn't relevant here, but we brought it up before, was obviously you can have a wider 4-betting range if people fold more to 4 bets, right? So there's the two kind of conflicting ones of each other there. But yeah, no, it's basically they're always have quite a linear 3-bet range, then you should tighten your 4-bet range,
Mhm.
Yeah,
especially
okay.
if they're not folding too much.
You kind of nailed it. What I was thinking too, Richie, is like I would 4-bet king 10 suited and king jack suited here. I would 4-bet ace 4 and ace 5 suited. I would 4-bet ace queens offsuit. So when this came up, I'm like, okay, well, I was considering just folding it, but I'm like, I would never be 4-bet bluffing, and
Right.
ace 4 and ace 5 would stay in the range, and I would be getting rid of a lot of that other stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find the video if you want, because he actually Jonathan Little gets the range graph and shows you what a standard 4-bet range is, and then he like trims it down. And I'll see if I can find the screenshot. I think it was in the last week or so. I'll try and post it while we're still revising now.
Awesome.
But if this is a 3-bet get it in size, then you probably only want to bet 4-bet with stuff that you're happy to get it in with.
Yeah, probably even tighter. No one discussed though, because this is what crossed my mind and why I thought you might have bet is, do you think he's gone slightly bigger on his 3-bet range to protect his 3-bet because it's a bit weaker? I'm not saying it's the play. I think getting tighter makes sense, but did you think, oh, his larger 3-bet might be a sign of weakness rather than a sign of strength? I was just wondering if
No,
that crossed your mind or not.
yeah, I didn't have any real info on what he was 3-betting. Like
I
It
have
felt
he had
strong
only
to me.
done
I
it
don't
one
know if
other time, and
confidence is
I'm
kind
sure
of
I didn't
moved.
like remember what he did it to.
I have an opinion on it. It lessens the frequency of aces that he has, but increases the frequency of jacks and ace king, neither of which are in here to fold. They just don't want to see a flop.
I get you.
So there are those hands that people typically know are good, and don't want to see a flop with, but they're not folding them either. So jacks, queens, and ace king.
Yeah, that makes logical sense. That's a good point. I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody else?
Nope, that's good.
I got more, but if nobody else has any.
Do we have anybody else having one? If not, take one more and then I'll jump in.
Okay, not sure. We get that. We do that. Okay. Here's where I wasn't quite sure if this is ever a call. And I think I went and looked later and it's not.
I love a fold here.
Yeah, it's not a call. It's a jam. It can be a jam, but it's not a call.
Yeah.
Oh, I did jam. Okay. I thought I might have
Nice.
called there. I just ran into it. I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I did, yeah, I
that
did.
mid quickie fucking
I love
size.
folding.
And I remember thinking, okay, I wasn't sure what I should do here. And I thought ace queen might be good enough to jam, and yeah,
Mhm.
just ran into it. And it was like 50-50 fold or jam,
Right.
something like that, if I remember. Okay, that one's easy. Okay, we got another ace queen. We get to see a flop. Checking range here pretty much. Check, check. Now that he's checked, only 8 hands, has been on the fishy side of 8 hands, but no real reads. But now once we get a check, I feel like we should be betting a lot.
I love the bet here.
But our hand is still also pretty good.
Yeah, but it's more of a draw than it is margin. It's more of a draw than a marginally made hand.
Yeah.
Yes, ace queen sometimes wins unimproved here. But it also loses to a bunch of hands that are going to fold. 4s, 5s, 6s are all folding. 7s might fold, probably not. Ace
Kind of
8
murky.
fold by the river.
What did I do? I do
You're
check.
called by worse ace flush draws.
Yeah, you checked.
Went check, check. Now I think that now that we've gotten to this point, we just check again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hold on. Are you the big blind? Yeah, you're the big blind and they just aren't there. Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm under the gun.
Oh, you're on the gun. You raised and he called.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he raised and you called. I got it wrong. Okay.
So like again, so here's an example. We did showdown and win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was pretty torn on whether I should be betting.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. He's going to call you on the turn, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
In today's
There we go. We got Jonathan's thing to watch. Okay. Anybody else got a hand before I steal it back? All right. It's going to be me. Hello, Jonathan. And here we go.
Hello, sharks.
Hello, sharks. Well, he doesn't, does he do that anymore? I think he stopped doing that. He was doing it for a while. All right. Here we go. All right. This hand is obviously here to show you what someone else did. Oh, that was the one we just did with the diamonds. Okay. So now the next hand. Why is this here? It's got to be limped. Oh, I'm obviously full. So this has got to be another one of let's see what they do. Check, check. Bets the flush draw. Calls the flush draw. Check, check. What is it? Why is this marked?
I would imagine you wanted to mark a hand before or after it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I do this all the time.
Yep, that's probably it. All right. In that case, we will, I think that's the last one that I have of this group. No, this is not. We got this one. Okay. All right, here we go. King three, we can open this on the button. We do. We get called. We get flop top pair, no kicker. He checks. We can bet this or check it back. Checking it back seems like a good choice. There we go. Nine of diamonds. Ooh, it gets worse. He bets. Easy call, one call. Yep. Ace of diamonds comes. He checks. Turn it into a bluff.
No.
No, I don't. Why not?
Ooh.
Yep.
I mean, no, don't turn it into a bluff because you just have so much equity in the hand versus
Yeah.
what he's versus his action.
Yeah, I do, unfortunately. Yep. Yeah, you didn't look at that and think you needed to turn it into a bluff. All right. Pocket eights. No three bets here, just call. Against cutoff eights. Actually, there's a little bit of three betting eights here. Cutoff,
Yeah.
mostly call. We call. Check, bet. Fold without the eight of clubs. With the eight of clubs, do some folding and some calling. That seems good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe fold all eights here, but I don't think so. So if you're gonna call, may as well do the eight of clubs. And then if the eight of diamonds bad or good of the eight with the clubs, that's the question here.
I think it's good. Like you have the best combo to call right now.
Yeah. And I think I want a club, but I think the eight of diamonds makes it, I think that this is the one that does it less. But that's the thing I wanted to look at.
Oh
Which
no,
one?
I'm opposite. I think this is the
You
one
think the
that,
diamonds is the best one.
yeah,
Block.
I think.
All right, there we go. Pick up the club, check, check. Get there
Or bet one.
or check, call, right. It's check and call makes a lot of sense here to me. Check, bet.
That's a nice chunky size.
It is a
And he
nice.
checked the turn, without a
Yeah, you
ace
check,
or
check.
something.
Yeah.
Ace of clubs.
Yep. Yep, we're gonna call it
Yeah.
and hit that. So there's no way around it. Okay, but let's look at that.
Look at a nice check back, man.
Yeah. Yeah. He was, I mean, he thought he had the best hand with the best draw, but he might have been beat here. So I don't hate, his check back there just goes, oh, and then, oh, now I definitely have the best hand. And he bet big and got called. He played better than me. All right, let's see here. So this is going to be cutoff versus big blind.
My question is the river. So like I was gonna ask, is that spot over bluffed, under bluffed, the classic bluff catching type line? I mean, we have value, right? However, to a pot size bet,
Mm-hmm.
like I see that bluffed a lot. Like I would have said it's over bluffed, but not with pot size bets.
Pot size. Yeah.
Maybe like a half pot.
Yeah, like if he goes half pot or something less than like 60-ish or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like that's kind of bluffed like a good chunk. Maybe not over bluffed, but bluffed appropriately or something. And
Yeah,
it
I
would have
feel
made
like it's
that
getting
call
more
really
value.
easy.
But when he goes big,
Mm-hmm.
all right, his king, queen, and he bets the equivalent of,
The bigger size, knowing that it's just gonna
No.
get called by any club pretty much.
he bets a third pot with his queen. And now my eights. All right, this was the thing we wanted to see. You want an eight of clubs to call,
There's the raise with the eight diamonds.
and with the eight, without the eight of clubs, you can do some folding. The heart spade, the one that has nothing, folds all the time. The diamond helps you there, and the club diamond is the one that is allowed to raise.
Yeah. Is it raising because if you checked equity, is it just have more equity than the rest of them? That's what I thought.
One would guess. Let's see. Where's
Or is
the,
it raising because
let's see where I want to see equity. Where's my equity button? Here we go. Strat equity. And we're back on the eights.
Yeah, it has the most equity. Okay.
Yep. So club diamond has the little bit of raising there. And now let's go back to strategy and take a look at one that folds even more as we get smaller. Sixes folds even more. So sixes now requires a club to go on, and the club diamond has some raises. Same thing. Fives is a set. Fours. Yeah, so you're right. Here we go. So here's the real thing. All without a club, you have to fold. With a club, you can call. With club diamond, you call. So you're totally right. That's the thing to look for there.
Why is that? I've seen this. I've just known this just from our studying, but I never really understood why. Is it because we're blocking their backdoor value,
Continue.
backdoor whatever?
So we completely understand why we need a club, right? We don't need to talk about the club.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got the answer about the club. Now, the diamond means that if they have a backdoor, it's not going to come in. And at
As
the same
often.
time, we block them a little bit from having a backdoor, and that's not good because they might bet a backdoor. Does that make sense? If they bet a backdoor there,
Yeah, so they're not going to have as many back doors
right.
when we hold that.
And we don't mind them having, and when they don't have backdoors and they bet, that pushes them towards the other parts of their range, which include value. But at the same time, when they do have a backdoor, they don't get there. So that might be good. It might be that.
Maybe also like diamond run out so we can bluff. We have bluffs in our range then.
Yeah, but you don't want to, I mean, you want to bluff a single diamond when it's up here. You want to bluff a big diamond that says they can't have the nuts. You don't need to bluff a tiny diamond. So that's what I think.
We just won't end up with
I
one
might-
diamond anywhere else.
I might talk to Danny about it. He's really good with the suit stuff. If he comes back to the other session. Okay. So that seems like enough on that hand. All right. Oh, no, not enough on that hand. River. That's what you
Yeah.
wanted to, you wanted to see how stupid my river play was. Right. Okay. So we call. Completely reasonable. We get the six of clubs. Our eights check. His king, queen with the king of clubs can do whatever it wants. The version of it that he has is king, queen of dime. He has this one. So yeah, checks and bets. Good for him. He did the check version. And then our river is the four of clubs. On the
We
four of
donk.
clubs, we donk.
Well, oh,
We don't have to donk, but we donk. We just go, here we go.
huh.
And when we don't donk, which does exist, so no solver break, and he bets pot, which is 10.5 basically, right? Yeah, he bets pot, and the pot is slightly smaller because of the initial things, but it's a pot size bet. And we do not fold the eight of clubs very often.
Can you check something really quick? If we do donk, does he raise the king of clubs?
Let's find out. All right, so our bet with the eights, the most common size of ours is 2.6. So we block bet it. So we block bet. He goes
Oh,
king,
yeah,
queen.
he's got to, right?
Yep,
He
yep.
raises. His most common raise size is 18. And now our little
Bluff jam representing the straight flush,
It is.
the eight of clubs.
yeah. Call Against call because sometimes he's bluffing, but our opponents are not bluffing here ever. Fold because our opponents are never here bluffing, and jam to bluff the straight flush.
And that's why the block bet's good, because you just save that
Yeah.
easy fold money.
Yeah. And there is the straight flush that we have.
Do you think okay, solver wants to raise the king of clubs there, which we expected, but what about our opponents? Do you think our opponents get scared and just call the block bet? Afraid of the
Nah.
ace of clubs?
Depending on how
I
small it
wouldn't.
is, they
An ace
raise.
of
I think
clubs,
they
I would
raise the
think
king.
bets
I think they
bigger.
raise I think they raise the king and they call the queen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's no queen.
Okay, in that case, the jack. They
Jack.
call the jack. But I do think they raise the king against a bet that small. I bet it's a half pot bet. I think they just call. Half pot, 3/4 pot, any of those,
Mhm.
any of those ace-like numbers. Yeah. But even here, that it isn't a polarizing between jam, bluff, and fold, that it still has some calls there. I wouldn't do this ever. I would never
No.
call. I also wouldn't jam. I
They're
don't,
just not finding enough bluffs, like at all.
yeah. If
And
you'll bluff,
like solvers barely finding enough bluffs to.
yeah. Yeah, if you'll
Uh,
bluff, if you're gonna bluff raise this, that's different than, than them betting out. Like if I was in position and I had the 8 of clubs and somebody bets into me on this board, yeah, I'd consider calling it. And I did call it here. Okay. Here we go. But
Yeah, you had to when you
I do
checked.
like your point that when they bluff this, they can bluff it smaller, and so they probably
Mhm.
do. I think that's a little bit of a tell. All right. And we did this king 3 suited already. Okay, that is the list of Scotties. Larry, you got anything else?
Oh, no, I think I'm done for today.
Okay. Why don't we you want to do a couple more, Mike, and then we'll be done?
Okay.
All right. Let me stop the share.
All right. Now, see what happens here. We raise, we get a broken stack flat and the broken stack flat. And all right. So checks to us. I'm often going to be checking here. Like we talked about, kind of checking range a lot of the times.
Mhm.
However, I do like my hand for a C bet, especially against these players. They probably have more 9x than like a typical solver would have, but I think we block a lot of their 9x hands with our 10s, like 10-9, right?
Yeah.
So I did choose to C bet. Use that kind of B33 size. And we get called in 2 spots. We get a crap turn. And now I just feel like we need to check.
Yeah, I think it's time to give up.
And we get a little dinky bet and a call. And I think that makes it easy.
Yeah, it does. Sometimes you still have the best hand here, but
Yeah.
sometimes you throw away 3.5 big blinds to what's going to happen on the river. And there's the ace. Yep.
Okay. That seemed easy enough. But you guys good with that flop?
I'm good with the flop bet.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, the one thing I thought would be interesting here is a check, and then if we get a raise from a bet from villain 1, villain 3 calls. I wonder if we can check raise or even check jam with this SPR.
I don't think I think if we do, we can, but then he folds all of his bluffs. So I
He
think,
calls with better.
yeah, I think we call and just hang on, and sometimes sometimes he hits an ace and sometimes he doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're way ahead. We're way ahead or way behind.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Stab.
Yeah, this is that kind of texture. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but the reason I like your bet there more is because their stacks are broken. If you're not risking as much. You
Right.
don't control the pot size because it can't get that big. Okay.
Okay, we get small blind flat,
Mm-hmm.
top
we
pair,
expect.
ace of spades. Very nice little combo to have here.
Yep.
So this is that kind of strange spot where, we're playing against a small blind flat, which
Right.
generally indicative of probably a poor player, like a weaker player.
Mhm.
Do we assign, like we talked about this, I kind of like to play as if he's got a big blind range. We
Yep.
study a lot of button versus big blind, and I
Mhm.
feel like this is what we can do here.
Yeah. So you can bet large here on a king high, small board. If you want.
Yeah, that's kind of a size up, half pot.
Yeah.
A bit of a size up. We get the call.
Great.
Okay, Queen of Spades turn. They check, and I just think we continue.
I do too, but I don't think you continue large.
Bingo, I'm with you. I'm pretty sure I probably don't go big here.
Yeah, 4, 3.5, 4, 5 at the most. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's
Right.
that was probably a third. It'd be 30
Yep, I like
or
it.
be 33, whatever. And we get to call. Now, do we value bet?
I would.
Let's think about this. We can still get called by a weaker king.
Sometimes queen.
We can get called by some queens here. I think we value bet and we think we take the I think we take the half pot size, not the pot size. Okay,
That would be 75.
3/4.
Ace five calls us.
We got to fold. Folded a
Oh
king.
wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
So this might be an interesting look at the difference of, like, if this was a true big blind range, or I mean a true small blind range that
Yeah.
you look at in solver,
Mm-hmm.
and the difference between playing against that range versus playing a big blind range versus against the big blind range.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if we should not be value betting here.
Yeah, if he's folding king nine, I wouldn't. I don't think value betting.
I think you just, I think you probably would have gotten a call for a 10. I'm not, I mean, I'm bragging about my size because he folded to your size. If it went the other way, I would, I'd be saying, oh, perfect sizing. And we don't
Right.
know that he would have called the 10, but yeah, it makes it easy for him to just call with a king. I'm beaten sometimes, but sometimes I'm not.
Okay.
So do you want to stick this in against the big blinds range?
Let's take a look. Okay, so we got button raise.
Yeah.
You want to see the big blind call first?
Yeah. Let's
You
do that
want to see a
against,
small blind? Well, here's the small blind range, which we know there's no flatting.
Yeah.
Very, very limited amount of flatting.
yes.
So we kind of figure this is more like what they're going to be playing, right?
Yeah. Let's take this first.
Yep, calling king nine suited right there.
And it's king of spades, three of spades, five of clubs. Five of clubs. A little bit of donking, not a insignificant amount. And I think
Yeah.
it's because of this king low low, this king low low combo. If you
Mm-hmm.
see this, which means that our C bet is probably going to go down versus another type of range. Yeah, so look at how much we're checking, even ace king half the time almost.
Right.
But with the ace of spades is good, obviously. It doesn't seem to make too much of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
We did that.
And we're allowed to go. We've got plenty of 50s in there and lots of 33s.
Yep.
Yep. So that was the thing we thought was that we could be bigger.
And of course, they call it king nine
There
of
was no
clubs.
75. There were no 75s on that board.
No, yeah, there were slivers. Yeah, there were slivers.
Okay.
Yeah.
9, easy call.
They were up here, some slivers.
Yeah. Yep. Very little.
Yeah, very little.
Right.
Of course, they call the king. And we got the queen of spades, I think it was. And they check, of course. Now, ace king wants to check a lot, even with the ace of spades.
Mm-hmm.
But the ace of spades does get a little bit more frequent with their bet.
Right. And the size that it likes to go when it bets, it has all the sizes, but the small size is the most common.
Yeah, and then
Check.
what did we do? We did the smaller size.
Yep. 3.65.
And they call it their king nine.
Mm-hmm. I assume that the king nine starts to do, does it do any folding yet? No, it doesn't matter.
It did not. Nope, it did not. Two of hearts, which is the brick of the, well, not necessarily. Ace four. They check. How are we going to value bet? We do not.
Nope, not enough.
We do not value bet.
Is there any? Nope, there's none. Nope, no value bet. Okay,
Now, here's what I think might be interesting. I want to put this in a new tab.
yeah, before you, and then one of the things that I want to do on that one, before you, leave that one. The last thing I
Yeah.
want to do is look at that flop where it's rainbow instead of flush draw and see if we get what happens to those overbets.
On the flop.
Yeah, but no, but leave this one up because you want to compare it to the other one,
Yeah.
to the
Okay.
small blind range.
So
we'll do
button
that.
raise, small blind call, fold. Ace of, whoops, no, it was the king of spades, three of spades. King. Here's where I think it's going to be a really big difference.
5 of hearts.
I bet this is going to be a big bet, as opposed to often checking, no donking, right?
Right.
No donking with that range. Here's where I feel like this is going to change. This is going to be quite different
Right.
than
I
what we
got
saw.
king nine here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Big. Super polar.
Because small blind's not going to have any of this.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just a king fight and you have the best king.
And they don't even have king nine, right? They don't. Oh, they do. They
Yeah,
got
they do.
a king nine.
Yep.
It's slivers. Like this is normal height, I think.
Yeah, yeah, this is normalized, not range height.
So we see the difference there. And we bet small, didn't we? No, we bet 50. We bet
Bet 50.
50. King nine's not going to go anywhere. Queen of spades. I wonder if we check almost pure now, or if this is better.
Small blind does a little betting, which it didn't before.
Oh, we bet quite a bit more
Mm-hmm.
because
For
we're not up against
any two pair.
any two pairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still a decent amount of checking with our top pair and the nut flush
Yeah.
redraw.
Yep. He's still, because he also has king queen that just came in.
Yes. The king nine stays with us. A little raising.
Yep.
And the two of hearts. They check. Does our value betting change? It does. Look at, we bet
Hey,
pure
king
now.
loves it. Loves the bet.
And when we bet, does he fold his king nine?
What size should we bet? Should we bet the B60 or the B85?
The B60 is the more common one.
What
And,
did you bet in game?
and plus I want to see him calling with a king nine so I can go told you.
Yeah, I bet the
Mhm.
B75 size.
So do whichever order you want.
Oops, I didn't want to do that. I want to do B50 first.
Okay.
King
B50.
nine calls.
King nine. All right. B75.
All right.
Snap calls.
B85. King
80.
nine indifferent.
All right. All right. Now take a look at the take a look
Dog.
at against the big blind with our sizing and just change the flop to be rainbow.
Be rainbow.
Yeah, same. And now lots of big bets, right? Did I see that right?
Let's see here.
He checks. Here we go. button.
No, the big bets
No.
don't come in here.
Nope, nope.
The frequency of c betting went up though.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a interesting thing if you're studying, the small blind flatters.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably better to not study small blind flats with a small blind sim.
Yes.
This sim wasn't bad though. It had his king nine in there, and it was a kind of tight range. He might have
Yeah.
been more close to that than big blind.
But we don't know, we don't know what his actual range is. We know that his hand was in the small blind range, but we don't know if he had all the other hands too there.
Yeah, we don't know if it was
We have to watch it. We have
closer
to,
to that or closer to the big blind. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And his HUD stats over just a small amount kind of
Yeah.
tells me it's probably going to be more like a big blind.
22-11. Yeah.
Okay. If the next one's any interesting, we raise cutoff. Ooh.
Oh,
All right.
miserably fold. Sadly fold.
Yeah, okay. Like no pre-flop raising, no three betting. Yeah, this should be fold.
Yeah.
Wonder why I decided to play this hand. Because it was a mistake. That's why. B33.
Mm, mm.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we happy?
See, the fish get paid off all the time.
Yep.
Do they? Do they?
Well,
So rigged.
no reason to raise.
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
Thank you for using that size, sir.
Yeah.
Like if he goes like let's say he bets what would be like 10
Yeah. If he bets 12 big
or
blinds or something.
11,
Yeah.
then I think now then there's still no reason to raise. We just don't raise. We just never
This
raise.
is so easy. Yeah. This is so
Yeah.
easy. Great card. That's not any card that isn't a king or a queen.
Aces or ace five?
Yeah, just call.
Yeah.
Maybe he has aces. Oh, great. Even better.
The pre-flop was a mistake.
Nice.
Unless I had some reason that he was, but the stats don't tell the story that I
No.
should have done anything but fold.
Yeah. And then he decided to spew. Once you called that turn, he should have known.
Yeah, that's really a terrible size.
Yeah. Like you're
Yeah.
never going to fold
got
an
it.
ace. Like you're not
He got
on
his
that
answer.
turn.
Yeah, he got his answer and then he didn't listen to it. It's like maybe you shouldn't bet for information, but if you do bet and get information, you should pay attention to it.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, my range is probably, if a correct range is probably like tens, jacks, nines.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he
But
should,
when you bet 36, when he bets 36, you fold those.
right, exactly.
Put him on big pocket pairs here and good aces a lot. And then he says, yep, hey, I got an ace.
Yeah, that was pretty awful.
Yeah, I'm folding tens there. It works there.
Yeah.
Yep. So. All right.
Right.
Solve a special.
Got it through.
Yep. What did he fold? That's the
Good
one.
question. I can tell you.
Yeah.
He raised and folded Queen 10 suited.
All right. Nice fold. All right. Cool, you guys. I'll see you guys next week on Monday, normal time. Everything's normal like that. Anybody got a filter they want to look at? And I'll put it in.
I'll message you on Discord if I think of a good one.
Okay, sounds good.
Guys,
We
thanks a
talked
lot.
we had talked about doing a limped, like seeing flops from the big blind or small blind in like limped pots.
Okay. Some limping.
Because it's pimping.
Limping is pimping. Okay.
I've heard
Bye,
that.
buddy.
Bye-bye.
All right, good game.
Thanks,
Good luck
Kate.
out there, everybody.
See ya.
She's all. Like,
Yep.
Is there something you'd like to say
As
to
they
the,
say in Canada, peace out.
is there something you'd like to say to the group, Skate?
May the poker gods be with you all.